122. The nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is
Developing
adopted.
tonight, Congress passes legislation to end the government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history, but it remains unclear when operations will return to normal. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Tonight's House vote to end the government shutdown now sends that bill to President Trump's desk. The president is planning to sign the legislation into law tonight. The president calls this bill, quote, a very big victory. Democrats did not get an extension of those expiring Obamacare subsidies that they had been holding out for. Democrats have argued an extension is needed to prevent skyrocketing health care premiums. Washington Representative Pramila Jayapal and Nevada Representative Susie Lee expressed disappointment earlier today.
I think people understand what a betrayal this is to not be able to go back with a victory.
We've spent 43 days in a total stalemate for nothing.
Republicans have promised to vote on whether to extend Obamacare subsidies next month. And while there are no guarantees of an extension, some Republicans do appear open to the idea.
We're probably going to have to extend some of the subsidies temporarily to see if we can't get some of those premiums down.
Well, from stalled federal food aid to flight disruptions, people all across the country are continuing to feel the effects of the shutdown. When it comes to air travel, 40 airports nationwide are still reducing the number of flights they're seeing by 6%. For more, let's go live tonight to Fox's Amalia Roy, who's joining us from Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix. And Amalia, some travelers are wondering right now whether airport operations are going to be back to normal by the Thanksgiving travel rush just a couple weeks away.
Yes, Alex, they are, and these are important questions because we know that holiday travel is ramping up. But even with the vote, we were told ahead of time that it is going to take some time before travel returns back to normal. Now, today, the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, put a pause on any more reductions in flights. This is after the FAA made airlines cut daily flights by 6% at 40 major airports, blaming air traffic controller shortages. These workers have now gone a full month without a paycheck, and as the shutdown dragged on, more of them started calling out of work. Duffy told reporters yesterday in Chicago that once the shutdown ends, his department has to see how many controllers come back to work. The 6% hold will stay in place in the meantime. Across the country, we've seen thousands of cancellations and delays. Travelers at Sky Harbor today told me they planned for the worst, but many said they didn't have any problems flying today.
Plan A was to catch the flight as usual. Plan B was to rebook myself on another flight before I even got to the airport. And Plan C was just staying a little bit longer in United Arab Emirates, in Abu Dhabi and Dubai.
I admit that I had some anxiety over the whole thing, and I lost a little sleep last night. But as I said, I woke up early. I arrived at the airport way earlier than I needed to, and it was fine.
The aviation industry group, Airlines for America, thanked the House for voting to reopen the government. The group said the government reopening will allow airlines to get back up and running in time for the holiday travel rush that we know is coming. In Phoenix, Amalia Roy, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, Amalia, where does the situation stand today in terms of the number of flights that were delayed or canceled across the country?
Alex, I checked right before coming on here, and I saw that we were up to in the U.S. around more than 2,300 delays and more than 900 cancellations.
All right, well, let's hope we start to see those numbers come back down here in the coming days with the shutdown now nearing its end. Amalia Roy, live for us tonight at Sky Harbor in Phoenix. Thank you. In Montana, Native American tribes turned to natural resources to keep residents fed during the government shutdown. On the Fort Peck Indian Reservation in northern Montana, the ranch manager harvested bison, also known as buffalo, to be processed and distributed to members of 2 local tribes. The tribal government authorized killing 30 animals, equal to about 12,000 pounds of meat. The herds have been restored in recent decades in this area and continue to play a key role for the tribes.
We're going to be getting cows today because we're overpopulated. We need to bring the population down. So what we'll do is we're getting cows. You're a full-grown cow, you'll bring you about 400 pounds of meat per annum when all said is done.
About a third of Fort Peck's tribal members depend on monthly benefits for food. Montana was one of the states that provided partial SNAP payments during the shutdown, so the tribe says it will keep providing bison meat for the time being to residents in the area. And to stay on top of efforts to reopen government operations, you can head to our website, westcoastwrap.com. We'll have the latest updates there for you. Now, ahead of today's vote on reopening the government, Arizona Democrat Adelita Grijalva was sworn in as the newest member of Congress.
You will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God. I do. Congratulations, you're now a member of the 119th Congress.
Grijalva's seating narrows the Republican majority in the House, giving the GOP 219 representatives and the Democrats 214 representatives. She won her special election back in September. Critics have accused House Speaker Mike Johnson of delaying her swearing in because she promised to be the final signature needed on a petition that would trigger a vote on releasing files tied to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Congresswoman Grijalva spoke about finally signing that petition this afternoon.
With my signing, we move one step closer to the truth that they will try to deny, but that survivors deserve their day of justice, and the American people demand it.
A House vote on releasing the Epstein files is expected to happen next week. Emails released today by congressional Democrats are raising questions about how much President Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's sex crimes. Epstein wrote in a 2011 email that Trump spent hours at Epstein's house with a victim of sex trafficking. Another email indicated Trump, quote, knew about the girls. We spoke earlier with TMZ attorney Jason Beckerman about some of the other details that have been released in those emails.
It starts back in 2011, really, with these emails that Epstein was sending to Ghislaine Maxwell. And this is, at this time, Donald Trump is really becoming a spokesperson for what would become the MAGA right. This is during the birther movement. He's really attacking President Obama. And at this time, Jeffrey Epstein is reaching out to Maxwell, really saying, Donald Trump knew about these activities, and he calls him the dog that hasn't quite barked yet. And it's such an interesting term that we really have spent kind of the day trying to unravel here. And in particular, what we're talking about is, what was he saying about Trump? Was he saying that this guy is the witness that hasn't quite informed authorities about me, about Jeffrey Epstein? Or was he saying that Trump, the dog that doesn't quite bark, this is the issue the media hasn't quite picked up on?
Democrats say releasing those emails is all about transparency. The White House calls the move, though, a smear campaign.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, this is a world that he was very much part of. It's not clear to what extent he was part of that world, but they interacted with each other. They seemed to be friends. The guy who sort of let Epstein off ended up in Trump's cabinet, so it's not surprising at all that there's more information that connects these two.
Democrats obtained the emails after they subpoenaed Epstein's estate earlier this year. Coming up here on West Coast Wrap tonight, cameras on the ground and in the air, rolling as law enforcement close in on a suspect in the Pacific Northwest. Up next, a woman says she needed to escape the suspect after he held a gun to her head.
How about if we step outdoors and take a beautiful bird's eye view of the skyline of San Francisco? We're looking at that particular area right here, right now, because things are going to change in a hurry. We'll talk about it with your West Coast Wrap forecast.
Majority of the circuit preparations have concluded.
Also tonight, a countdown is on to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. See what's being done to transform the Strip into a Formula One racetrack.
Hey, I'm gonna move in. I got hands.
I'll go with you.
Do not move.
I don't want no problem.
Newly released video shows police arresting a man suspected of holding a gun to his girlfriend's head in Seattle. The search for Michael Manley began on November 1st after his girlfriend escaped from an Airbnb property where he threatened her. Police used a helicopter to track a car they suspected he was driving. Officers approached him when he got out of that car. Manley's now been booked on several charges, and a judge has set his bail at $200,000. Authorities suspect foul play in the disappearance of a Utah woman who vanished from a beach in Santa Cruz County. 35-year-old Danielle Staley was last seen at a bonfire on Rio Del Mar State Beach near Aptos last Thursday night just before 11:30. Investigators say she's at risk because her belongings were found on the beach and she failed to contact her family. Staley was last seen wearing a dark hooded sweatshirt and leopard print leggings. Detectives are asking anyone with surveillance video in that area to reach out to them. We have an update tonight on the legal battle between the city of Pasadena and UCLA. A judge today denied a request to grant a temporary restraining order that would prevent UCLA from playing home football games at any venue other than Pasadena's Rose Bowl. The judge told the Rose Bowl operating company and the city of Pasadena they did not prove an emergency that would warrant such an order. A UCLA spokesperson told the LA Times the school has not made any decision about where the football team will play its home games. Today, a three-judge panel denied rapper Tory Lanez's appeal of a guilty verdict on charges he fired a gun at rapper Megan Thee Stallion. Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, was found guilty of 3 felonies in 2022. Prosecutors say he shot in the direction of Megan Thee Stallion during an argument outside a Hollywood Hills home in 2020. She was left with bullet fragments that needed to be surgically removed from both of her feet. Lanez is serving a 10-year prison sentence. His attorneys have not said whether they plan to take their appeal to California's Supreme Court. Well, we're 1 week away now from seeing the Las Vegas Strip transformed into a Formula One racetrack. Fox 5's Joe Vigil took a drive to get a look at the preparations for an event that attracts an international crowd.
We did a little test run on the nicely lit F1 track Wednesday morning, going a little slower than the 200+ miles per hour. F1 cars will be zooming by on the long straightaway portion of Las Vegas Boulevard. You can see the Bellagio grandstands on the right are looking mostly completed. Close to the Sphere on Koval, things are looking good as well. Some traffic cones were still up, but track lighting and many of the barriers here all look in place. We also checked out the track Wednesday afternoon and just did not see a lot of work going on. We just talked with the senior vice president of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, who explained why.
The majority of the circuit preparations have concluded.
And here's what she just told Fox 5 about what still needs to be done.
We are in the final stages of setup with the track barriers going up, which are key to being able to drive the track, as well as the last of the permanent pedestrian bridges, the enclosures over that are being done for safety purposes, so nothing can be thrown down on the track.
And that was Fox 5's Joe Vigil reporting tonight. The Las Vegas Grand Prix gets started with qualifying races on November 20th, and the big race itself is coming up Saturday, November 22nd. All right, we want to get you back now to the top story we've been following tonight. Let's take you to the White House, where President Trump is signing legislation here to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Let's listen in.
And frankly, spent a long time in Washington getting this thing to go away. I also want to thank the broad coalition of Americans that stood with us in this fight to reopen government, including the Teamsters, the American Federation of Government Employees, the Fraternal Order of Police, AMVETS, the National Small Business Association, the American Farm Bureau, the American Trucking Association. These are all incredible patriots. The Airlines for America, the Allied Pilots Association, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, and many others, unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. but they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid, and the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this when we come up to midterms and other things. Don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass great, really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't.
All right,
Today
you are
we had
listening
the
live to
highest
President Trump inside the White House tonight, where any moment now he is expected to sign legislation to end the government shutdown. You can see Speaker Mike Johnson standing there behind him, along with a number of other folks in the Oval Office tonight. But the president, in his remarks here before he signs the legislation, blaming Democrats for the longest-running shutdown in U.S. history here. An agreement finally worked out. It has passed both chambers of Congress. And again, we are awaiting President Trump's signature on that legislation. We will, of course, continue following that story throughout the evening. We'll move along here. And we'll turn to our weather here in the West. And people in Southern California and the San Francisco Bay Area are preparing tonight for a new round of storms. This is a live look at Los Angeles, where they've seen a big temperature drop, and that's what they're expecting here in these overnight hours, and that's going to be followed by a whole lot of rain. And there is some concern about the potential for debris flows in areas affected by recent wildfires, especially those devastating fires back in January. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez, who is tracking the threat of those storms and the conditions across the West. This is a really serious system, Roberta.
It is. It's a legit concern, Alex. You know, I was reporting from the Pacific Palisades fires back in January, and we had a little bit of light precipitation following those fires, and it did cause some mud flows and debris flows as well, and they will certainly have some problems coming up. Let me show you why. First things first, we've had this huge dome of high pressure, and that has been contributing to temperatures in the 80s across the Southland for this entire week, and this is being overridden now by this right here. It's just a shield of clouds, and this is not what's going to cause the problem. It's this right here. It's an atmospheric river. It's already causing some rain showers around the Pacific Northwest and then banging up against that northwestern quadrant of the state of California. But look way out here. This circulation in a counterclockwise fashion here. This is the area of low pressure. This is the core right here. And this is progged to take a direct aim on Southern California. And let me show you what the end result is going to be. As we tally it on up, sure, the San Francisco area, the city of San Francisco is going to see easily up to an inch of rain, perhaps an inch and a half of rain with 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But look at Southern California with that direct aim. So that will certainly cause some problems. But let's back up. First hit will be the Bay Area. The wet pattern begins tonight all the way through Friday morning. Heavy rain, especially in the North Bay and the Santa Cruz Mountains. Anywhere up to 5 full inches of rain in those locations, but around the immediate San Francisco Bay Area, 1 to 2 inches of rain. Then we're talking about the high wind warning. It is in effect for the North Bay coast all the way into the city of San Francisco and along the San Mateo coast. There will be airport delays. There will be ferry services canceled for the morning commute. Today in the city, it was 66 degrees with the shield of clouds. Los Angeles, here's your clouds from that system to the south at 73 degrees. That's down almost 5-6 degrees compared to yesterday. And in Phoenix, you are about 11 degrees above average for this time of the year. And we still see the flag at half staff at the Port of Seattle with the passing of Vice President Dick Cheney at 55 degrees. Other notable numbers, it was 69 degrees at the state capitol. It was 70 in San Jose. The forecast does include the rain to continue across the Pacific Northwest and also the Bay Area. It's a rain out through Saturday in Los Angeles, 20 degrees above average in Denver.
All right, Roberta, thank you. Up next here on West Coast Wrap tonight, one Arizona town has the distinction of being an international dark sky community. Up next, we'll explain why that has people in this area looking up. One of the best places to view the northern lights is an area that's free of light pollution. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen shows us one town in Arizona with the rare distinction as an international dark sky community.
This is the Adero Canyon Trail in Fountain Hills here. And believe it or not, last night, parking lots like this one here, we're told were pretty busy because there were so many people that wanted to see the northern lights.
Ah, the beauty we've come to expect in Norway and Alaska. Check that. This is Fountain Hills.
So rare to see the northern lights in Arizona.
Vicki Dirksen is a night sky tourist. She takes out her portable telescope and heads up trails with those looking to leave the light pollution of the city behind them. Fountain Hills may be a city, but as one of the few official dark sky cities in the world, you can see the mysteries of the universe from your backyard.
We're just in a special little pocket out here that really sets us apart from most of Maricopa County.
These are the shots she captured Tuesday night. In a rare happenstance of the sun and the atmosphere, Aurora Borealis became visible from this place Tuesday. And tonight, well, I'll let her tell you.
So tonight is supposed to be even more vivid, more powerful.
Because it's a rare event like shooting lightning or shooting one of these other rare kind of spectacles, that's what makes it really special.
Randy Woods has been taking photos of the night sky for a decade. He's seen northern lights only twice before, taking these beautiful shots. But this one, he captured this at Lake Pleasant Tuesday night.
Everyone's got a camera that can shoot the aurora now, a phone. So take anything you can out there.
That's right. Just with your cell phone, you can capture these too, if the clouds hold off tonight.
If you have a tripod or even just something you can lean your camera against and then hit maybe a 2, 3, 4, 5 second, 10-second exposure, and that's it. The settings are kind of the easy part. Getting out into the dark skies, getting the luck of the aurora, that's the hard part.
Elevation like this is going to be key tonight because if you're able to see the northern lights, it'll be right on the far off horizon. Just make sure you're looking north. Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
And finally tonight, the housekeeping staff of a few Las Vegas resorts just cleaned up in a major competition. Teams from resorts across Las Vegas showed up at the Michelob Ultra Arena this week to take part in the 35th annual Housekeeping Olympics. Among the competitive events were a mop relay, vacuum race, and a bed making contest. Resort managers say this is one way to show appreciation for housekeeping employees.
They are the lifeline, and they bring the guest experience to life every single day. So it's a great opportunity to take a step back and recognize the employees for all the work that they do.
While no single team swept the competition, staff from Resorts World, Aria, and Vidara placed it on the podium in nearly all of the events. Ultimately, staff from Aria and Vidara emerged as the overall winners. Congrats to them. Have a great night.